Charita.
Madam. Nana sir, mute your mic.
Hello.
Honorable Vice Chancellor sir,
बाद में करता हूँ मैं बात.
at this webinar. The idea of organizing this webinar was conceived in the month of November when our new principal in charge, Dr. J.B. Upadhyay, at the faculty meeting suggested that we at Dairy Technology Department should organize a webinar in association with Alumni Association of Dairy Science College. So after that, after a brainstorming session with the faculty of Dairy Technology, we decided on this topic, dairy products for health and wealth, which we thought would be interesting as well as useful to all the stakeholders of dairy industries. All the eminent speakers and our beloved speakers of today's webinar are our alumni who are going to speak on a wide range of topics such as how to make the farmers wealthy, how to make the entrepreneurs wealthy, small entrepreneurs as well as big entrepreneurs, as well as how to further improve the functional properties of milk and milk products to improve our immunity. I am happy to see all of you here. And after this brief introductory note, I invite our principal, Dr. J.B. Upadhyay, to deliver his welcome address.
Thank you, Sunita. And have a nice day, one and all, because this is the international seminar. That means throughout the globe, everybody is watching this. So, as the principal and dean of SMC College of Dairy Science, Anand, I am having the pleasure of welcoming our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir, Anand Agricultural University, Dr. R.V. Vyas, Sir, at this international webinar. I am happy to learn that Dairy Technology Department of SMC College of Dairy Science, Anand, along with the Alumni Association, has ventured to debut the international webinar on a very pertinent topic relevant in this pandemic situation, being on the theme dairy products for health and wealth. The august audience of the webinar will be enthralled by some eminent speakers in India and abroad. I take this opportunity to welcome eminent speakers of this webinar, Sri Krishnanji from Amul Dairy, Sri Gaurav Parekh from Crave Eatables, Bhavnagar, Dr. Chetan Dharaiya from SMC College of Dairy Science. They all are from India. And Sri Ankur Janwar is from USA. I also extend my hearty welcome to all the dairy fraternity, with teachers, students, and entrepreneurs attending this august function. According to Ayurveda, milk is the elixir of life. Milk nourishes the body, mind, and soul. Milk is regarded as the complete food, and one cannot underestimate the virtues of the colostrum either in human milk or bovine milk. I am sure all of you will enrich yourselves from this webinar and propagate the good virtues of milk and dairy products, so as to keep away the plant-based milk type beverages and the unscrupulously prepared synthetic milk and products made out of it. Dairy products are established to be a source of income to dairy farmers and vendors. helping in building up wealth in the current scenario of Atmanirbhar Bharat, the motto given by our Honorable Prime Minister of India. Anand Agriculture University is already offering startup courses dealing with food processing and dairying. Can be another venture. Since milk is a treasure of nutrients and bioactive components, the dairy products prepared out of it, especially the fermented dairy products like probiotics and synbiotics, are gaining momentum day by day. The functional dairy foods are capable of adding couple of more years to your existing lifespan, especially the innate immune boosting properties of milk along with food additives known to boost immunity can provide wellness, delicious products to the people in this pandemic era, where scientists all over the globe are trying to introduce newer immune boosting foods. Some popular dairy products include the haldi, ginger, tulsi milk, and chawanprash ice creams, recently launched in India. On this positive note, I would like to congratulate the organizers in advance for the success of current webinar and once again welcome all the eminent speakers, all alumni of our college and all the participants. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. It's my proud pleasure to be in this international webinar on dairy products for health and wealth, organized by Department of Dairy Technology and SMC College of Dairy Science Alumni Association, Anand Agriculture University, Anand. Sir, we are privileged and very much fortunate to have with us Dr. R.B. Vyas, sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Anand Agriculture University, presiding over this event. A very beloved teacher, meticulous administrator, and an acclaimed scientist who, with his prolific research accomplishments in the field of agricultural microbiology, has accrued global reputation for Anand Agricultural University. Sir is a recipient of many coveted awards, an exemplary personality, a great inspiration for all of us to follow, guiding and supporting us as head of our family. Sir, it is my pride and privilege and a great pleasure to welcome you on this event and request you your address to the gathering. Sir, please.
Thank you, Dr. Jarita, Dr. Upadhyay, Dean, SMC College of Dairy Science, Dr. Jana, Dr. Sunita, Dr. Gokhale, and our alumni friends who have joined today. I think Mr. Gokul, Mr. Gaurav, and Mr. Ankur. I'm very happy to be with you today in this webinar. A very important topic has been selected by Alumni Association and the college is dairy products for health and wealth. I think health and wealth is the only main thing for all humankind. And as my task has been made easy by giving good information, technical details about the milk by Dr. Upadhyay, I can say that milk starts with our life. Just once we got born here on the earth, we need milk. Our life starts with the milk, ends with the milk as per the Indian tradition. So milk, of course, we use in different ways and means, from mother milks to all different type of fancy milks. I can say fancy milks. Even now, plant-based, vegetable, fat-based milks are also available in the market. In this era, milk is the only source of vitamin B12, which I have some limited knowledge about the dairy and dairy products, but I can say that milk is the only vitamin B12 source for the vegetarians. Moreover, it supplements other vitamins, minerals, and even potassium also. So in this case, when we are a child, we are very much habituated with the milk. But once we grow up and we go to adulthood, and then we require products, not milk. No milk now. No milk now. We argue with our parents. We don't want milk now. We want something different from milk. And that is the business. That is the wealth which is coming up in the dairy industry. I can say the milk is the rich source of protein, correct. But the essential, some of the acids, amino acids are also there. Some points I have noted down. And nowadays people are referring super milk. Terminology is super milk. I think regarding dairy products, and I think 3 industry friends are here with us in this webinar. I can say that we had 2 industry interface meeting at Anand by Dairy Science and FPT College. That was in 2019 and 2020. In both the year, we had a lot of discussion with the industry also. And a basket of our dairy technology research outcome in the form of different protocols for different type of dairy products we exhibited to them. Our ultimate aim was to see that the students who are interested to become Atmanirbhar. The most popular word nowadays in country is Atmanirbhar. So to have the Atmanirbhar student has to start their career as a startup. And for startup, many protocols has been developed by our dairy college. Moreover, as per my knowledge is concerned, I can say that Khoha making machine, Basundi making machine, Halwasan making machine, even a complete plant is there in our dairy science college to support our student and startup for all the different type of traditional sweet making. All type of sweet we can make from a small plant, and such plant is also established at our dairy college to support the student to develop their skill and also for the startup. I can say that I can congratulate our one of the colleague from Amul, Mr. Gokul. I would like to say that Amul has done a very good thing by launching the turmeric milk.
Yes, sir.
Turmeric
Thank you,
is
sir.
world over known as an immunity booster and fighting against the viral diseases. And I think Amul has in right time launched this milk, turmeric milk for the public, especially in this pandemic era of COVID-19.
Thank you, sir.
One more thing is now our need is to have cottage industries in dairy sector also, because a lot of milk is now in villages available instead of Amul pattern. I'm sorry, Dr. Gokul, but long back Amul pattern was very important for wealth of the farmers. But I can say now, as per the fancy trend has went up to villages to have the cheese and other produces in villages also. Requirement of cheese and other produces. So it is required that our students can come forward, even startups can come forward and develop some cottage industry with the support of our dairy science college and our incubator. So straightway they will be getting good wealth out of this. And for health, I can say that again, I will repeat my first word, from first drop of milk which we receive from our mother up to the death. In Indian tradition, milk is the only source of our health and to have the immunity against many diseases. So with these few words, I would like to remember here Dr. Varghese Kurian, who has done Operation Flood Movement from NDTV Anand, and the milk capital of India, Anand. Again, our SMC Dairy Science College has a very close working with them, both of them, NDTV and Amul. I'm sure that more and more new healthy products will come forward from our group of scientists and with the help of industry. And we can work together for serving our society in the best way with milk and milk product. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your support and your blessings always, sir. Thank you so much for your blessings today as well. Thank you, sir. So we have acclaimed eminent speakers from industry as well as from our college. It is my right pleasure to welcome them again on behalf of SMC College of Dairy Science. Shri Gokul sir, Shri Gaurav Parekh, Mr. Ankur Jawar, and Dr. Ajay Gokhale to this event. So we have our first speaker today, Shri Gokul Krishnan, a brief, we all know him, but something about him it is a pleasure to know him again and again. Sri Gokul Krishnan, we all know he's alumnus of our college. He did his MSc in Dairy Technology with ICR scholarship. He cleared NET in the subject of dairy technology, and he started his career as Quality Assurance Officer at Gokul Dairy in the year 1993. Thereafter, he joined Vidya Dairy in the year 1994, and he executed successfully the job of student training in charge and production in charge for over 11 years. He worked in research and development with various scientists in the development of Amul ice cream, Amul paneer, Amul mozzarella cheese, as well as Amul Emmental cheese. He was the first management representative in India to implement HACCP and ISO 9001-1994 from an international agency in dairy sector for Vidya Dairy. Currently, since 2005, he's with Amul Dairy Anand. He's working as Senior Manager, Quality Assurance and Research and Development. He has worked in several projects, including the lead of cooperative union in implementing SAP in Amul umbrella in quality QM module and in designing milk and cattle feed operations. He has established milk procurement activity in Tamil Nadu as Senior Manager, Chennai Operations, and in establishment of Andhra Pradesh Milk Procurement Operations by Kera Union. Sir has more than 25 published and presented articles in national as well as international events. And he has also been awarded with J.R. Patel Memorial Award in professional category in the year 2015 by SMC College of Dairy Science, Anand Agricultural University, Anand. Sir, it's our pride, pleasure that you are here today to talk on a very important topic today. That is, we will be talking on dairy business a wealthy way. Sir, I welcome you to this event and I request you to start your talk. Sir, please.
Thank you. Can all hear me?
Yes, we are able
Yeah.
to hear you.
Thank you. Respected Vice Chancellor, sir, respected Principal, sir, respected Professors Jana, sir, Sunita, madam, Jarita, madam, and my colleagues. I'll be talking mainly about the dairy business a wealthy way. Vice Chancellor, sir, told that cooperatives was important few days back, but it will be most important for next 100 years if the farmers has to get their dues. This is my experience and what I'm saying. This is for the farmers. We are for the farmers, not for the entrepreneurs. This is number one. And before starting, my talk will be mainly for the students and those of the technical persons who are not having much knowledge about the milk procurement and the village scenario. I'm a dairy technologist. I got educated. I put the photograph of Dr. R. Sharma sir wherever I go. He was my mentor. I can never forget him. Even the day before he reached heavenly abode, I was there at 11 o'clock in the hospital. He just told me, Gokul, work hard. That will fetch you the results. And he told, go home. Nalini and Bharati will be waiting. He was that much careful for the students. And it's a great, every time I give respect for my professors and I proceed. Okay. So first I would like to say some important things about the dairy. Total India's GDP is, agricultural GDP is around 28 lakh crores in rupees. After that, our dairy sector is having around 7 lakhs crores. That is, this is number one amongst all the commodities. Inclusion of paddy and wheat also, dairy has surpassed that. Inclusive of paddy and wheat, it comes to around 4.5 lakh crore in total. But the dairy has surpassed that. This directly indicates the dairy business will never go down till the humans exist. So this is number one. And the way in which we receive the milk, pay to the farmers, makes our nation rich. And the farmers' numbers, if you see, around, we can say 60% of the people are in rural sector, and around 7 crore of the families are associated with dairy business. We can just imagine a huge number of farmers are dependent on dairy business, and that is mainly for their day-to-day operations. Whatever amount they get, at least they can eat twice a day and have all their basic needs. Normally I start with a joke, but since it's a webinar, I don't think a joke will be good. But I'd put a small, you can see on the screen, it looks like a joke. We humans failed, but the animals delivered. Okay, rather the milk production after a little period, it gone up. And all the private vendors, normally 25% of the milk which is procured, out of 51 is a surplus out of the total 130 million metric tons, 51% is surplus, and about 25% is going to the Horeca. Horeca means your hotels, restaurants, and caterers. And even in that, during the COVID period, that was worstly affected, and it was mainly many cooperative dairies which accepted everybody's milk and paid dues without any hindrance. The payment across the nation, especially for the dairy farmers, wherever it is, whether it is in Gujarat or Tamil Nadu or Punjab or wherever you take, the farmers were provided that milk was taken and the money was given, and they did not feel much. So this is the first thing I'll start. The animals, they deliver, as he told, because we start with the human milk, taking milk, and similarly, milk will be number one, and nothing else can compromise with milk. So if we see just the rural farm wages, it is coming down day by day. And year 2022, they told that the farmer's income should be doubled. Though if you see the value of rupees, even if it is doubling, if you want to double the value, what all the things has to be actually increased in the farm level. As I told, I got training in Amul Dairy when I was in 1990. Then I worked in Vidya Dairy for around 11 years in production. My best thing is I worked in every place in Vidya Dairy, engineering, wherever you say, even in stores and accounts. And after joining Amul, I'm very thankful to my management also to allow me to participate in the seminar. And the main things, whatever I've seen in the cooperatives after joining here, the crux is the milk production. That is lacking. That is, I cannot say lacking. Exposure is lesser for dairy students. Whenever they want to go, even I was a student, I did not know much about. During my training, I went to one of the village near Nadia in Chaklashi. So I went to a farmer's house. I had a rotla and they gave me some garlic chutney and a glass full of buffalo milk. That time I came to know what is the farmer, what he is doing. After joining Amul, I could especially see what is an actual farmer and how they are working, and their produce makes us alive. What Dr. Kurian has done for us, he has built the farmers, the crows of farmers, and what they do and how they do, that we just see the milk in tankers or cans. But what happens behind, many of us do not know. Then I'll see mainly for the students, participants, they can know, and whenever they come to the industry, they have to take interest and they have to go and learn themselves so that they get the knowledge about the basics. Only if the basics are good, the other things will be good. If the raw milk quality is good, everything will automatically be good. So this is what is the thing, how to achieve. You can see I've been looking into the thing, what to present. Even this is in the USA, they have clearly indicated that the farm price is going to reduce. The farmers in advanced countries, their dairy business is not going to come very forward in the coming days. So we have very good chance. And side by side, seeing into our neighboring country, many may not be knowing about China. If you say about China, we'll be saying only it's a country which produces melamine. But I was going through all the literature. I could find one thing from 1949 to 2018, their milk production has increased to 145 folds. And they do everything secretly. Nobody knows what they're doing. Unless and until we do much efforts in the village level and get it done, a day will come, maybe after 10, 20 years. If they do even now 10 folds, now they're around 31 million tons. Even if they do 10 folds in 10 years, so they will surpass, they may surpass us. They don't have cooperatives, they have huge farms. I've seen one of the farm. I'll just show you one or few photographs. It's only one farm located in Bengu. It's called Bengu farm. They have around 600 acres and they have around 38,000 cattle in that particular farm. And they have 8 different milking stations. Every day, this particular farm is producing 6.5 lakh liters of milk a day. It's like one of our big cooperative dairy where we're operating in one entire district. One farm, they're doing this. So what we have to do is we have to increase our productivity, because we cannot think of this much farms and doing the things. But what in India we know it very well. It is
I have sent
production by masses. Production by mass.
Yeah, YouTube.
Somebody.
Okay, okay, sir.
It's by production by mass.
No, same one, YouTube one.
I think Jana sir.
Okay.
So it's by Chinese industry. I have seen that. We can see they have a huge farms where here you can find 800 animals will be there, and everywhere in the milking shed they have automatic milking sheds, around 8 milking sheds, where there will be 64 animals in a milking parlor, automatic milking parlor. And even if you see the cow barns they have for the calves for 1 month to 4 months old, so it will be a huge barn, and they take it in a very established way, and they may in future come near us. That we have to take care. And they have an automatic packing station. The milk directly, chill milk goes, they pack the raw milk and send it to the city, supply to the city. And what we need, India, I'll just say, what we need is a healthy business. Whatever I have put, it's you can see the picture. The lady, normally this is the household one, wherever you see. If you go to the villages, deep villages, I worked in a villages where a lady like this, she was having 4 to 5 cows. Even sometimes in the odd season, elephants come near the farm. So people are doing that sort of business with all the odds in the life. We have to improve the wealth of these people. If you want really our nation to come ahead, we have to improve the people of need. And again, how we can make it need? We can see the animals. Gyr we have. Gyr is one of the best breeds. If you go to Israel and Brazil, you can see the animals yielding more than 30,000 liters per lactation. But our cows are not so. Similarly, you can see many places they don't feed properly, and you can see we have to make this animals have to be a healthy animal to yield almost. They can yield double the milk. And ultimately, and whenever I talk about milk and yield, I just give an example of anybody in your family, maybe your wife or sister or whatever it is. When they're pregnant, we take care. What care we take, everybody knows. The food they eat, they should not move here and there. You can just imagine a cow. After it is born, maybe 2.5 to 3 years, it will be impregnated. Then for next continuous 10 years, every year, it has to be getting pregnant and it has to yield milk. So what care we take matters about the yield of the milk. Ultimately, cow, we are having it for milk production only, mainly. Okay, so we have to make all the animals healthy. This is number 1 thumb rule. Whatever breeds we have, locally we have different breeds, Gyr, Sahiwal, Red Sindhi, whatever you talk, we have so many breeds, and we are the best. See, we have to see, then if you make that, we have to convert the farmers, poor farmers to wealthy farmers. I just shown a figure. There an African lady, maybe she'll be in Europe or USA. You can see her wealthy in a dress itself, and the animal. You can see our Indian woman, how she does it. We have to make our rural persons healthy in the means, healthy means physically they're, of course, they're very, what to call, of best health. I have gone to many villages nobody knows even about corona also. They are not affected also. So they have very good immunity. They work very hard. All these things are there. We have to make them wealthy means in terms of financial condition. We have to make them a little bit richer. And we have the best breeds. Buffalo means it is India. You see, there are so many products made of buffalo milk. You can start from mozzarella cheese, kova, whatever you take, you can say paneer, everything they want for whiteness. And even now there's a very huge requirement of buffalo milk in different parts of the country. So we have best breeds. We can make it viable by improving and doing all these things in the village level. So what I have taken about the milk production is, it's a 10-point formula. 10-point formula. It's very important for a student if they talk about the procurement activities. One of the most important thing is pricing of milk. Second is availability of land and labor for the farmer. Third is availability of the feed to the animals. Fourth one is availability of veterinary services. Fifth one is availability of milk procurer, that is the vendor who purchases the milk. Then the existing government policies. Then availability of advanced technologies. Then wealth from the waste. And affinity towards the business and honesty is required in whatever work you do. These are the things again you need. Then say milk, pricing of milk. Pricing of milk, normally if you say, they'll say we have single axis, double axis. There are, if you start from the base, people in different areas somebody purchases cow milk. They say it is pavitra, this thing, that thing. And many places we have buffalo milk. Normally this is very popular among tea stalls and sweet makers. Then mixed milk is normally we get whenever the farmer brings. We do not know the cow or buffalo milk. Then A2 milk is getting popular, though it is controversial till date. A2 milk is in demand and supply in many of the cities. Then milk is purchased in liters in some place. Everybody knows 1.03 is a specific gravity, but many farmers does not know that it's dairy technologies. Even when I ask something about my sister, she is a physician. She is an MD radiologist. She has still now asked that what is the powder made of, milk powder made up of. I have to say it is made up of milk. So these things still exist. Then it is sold somewhere in kilograms, somewhere it is based on fat percentage, somewhere it is based on SNF percentage, somewhere it is based on 2-axis. 2-axis means we have some constant for SNF and some for fat. Then many places in South, it is purchased on the basis of total solids. What is the total kgs? There, much of the standards does not come in between. In some places, they buy based on antibiotics and adulterants is coming up now way. And last one I have written is Udaran advance taken. Many may not be knowing it. In many regions where the poor farmers, they have 1 or 2 animals, what they do is they take some 30,000-40,000 rupees from a vendor. Then for entire year, they'll be giving the milk. They will not know what is the quantity, what is the thing. They'll just say today you supplied 4 liters, okay, I'll deduct 80 rupees. So in that way also the nation is running, which is all happening in the rural areas where people are in need of money. So this is how the milk pricing, a farmer should know what is the pricing, how it is being done. They have to be educated. That is what we do. We are very transparent. Whenever they come, they'll come to know what is the quantity, quality, fat, SNF, what is the amount generated. Even the price chart will be available on every society or wherever it is. So these are the things which everybody should know, that what are the different ways and means how the milk is being priced, because price is everything. Under every business, I'll say even temples run on money only. If they don't have money, nobody will be there, and this thing is happening. So price is one of the major things. Then how does a farmer normally has it? Whenever a farmer, I have visited many and I have calculated myself talking to them, and normally it's a thumb rule that 50% of the income they get for the milk. For example, if he or she is getting 30 rupees a liter, normally 15 rupees will have to be spent on the animal and animal welfare. Maybe it may be the labor or what to call feed or veterinary services or whatever you want. So this is normally one, and 5 to 10% goes out of that. 5 to 10% goes on the medicine and veterinary services. 5 to 10% on the miscellaneous, 5 to 10% on the laborers, still they'll be earning about 35 to 40% minimum. And the best farmer, whatever, normally the farmers do not prefer to have more than 2 to 3 cattle. The main reason being they can handle, normally the ladies who are the backbone of a country, they manage this business in the house. So what they do all the things. They go to the field, they bring the fodder, and they clean the animal, they milk the animal. So by doing this, all other overheads comes down, and he or she gets around 60 to 70% of the money. And if the breed is improved, if the proper feed is given, I think the milk production, whatever scenario we think we want 10%, 15% increase, will automatically shoot up like anything. So these are the things which are needs to be capsulated, and we have to be taking care in every nook of the rural areas. Okay. Then about the cattle feed. And again, many of the dairy technologists are not much aware about what the feed has to be given. The feed we give comes out as a milk. It is Sharma sir used to teach us that there is some udder, you'll have around 550 liters of blood has to pass through the udders. There are alveoli cells, milk will be secreted due to some hormones. You milk the animals and milk comes out. But what goes in is the feed. The thumb rule is around 2 to 3, that is 2.5% of the body weight of the animal has to be given as the feed in dry matter. This is the thumb rule. This is the basic rule that everybody should know. And out of that, some portion will be in a concentrated form. Concentrated form means we have a feed, cattle feed made, which is very rich in protein, fat, carbohydrates, and we also enhance it with minerals and all, that one. Then some should be with grain fodder, around 40-45%, and 20-25% should be dry fodder and grain fodder proportion. And that's how the total dry matter should be made, meeting the requirement. And one more thumb rule is, if the animal is giving 1 liter of milk, you have to give around 450 to 500 grams of cattle feed, composite feed. This, all the things that even it has to go into the deep knowledge of a dairy person, dairy technologists also, it has to go in. And if they are not exposed, this has to be incorporated in the subject, and they have to take it up. This will help a lot when they start their own industry. As our Vice Chairman sir was saying, that they have to start their own industry. All these basic things also they have to take additional inputs, and they have to develop. And these are the different types of feed. You can see many types of feed is available in the market. They claim as per BIS, it should be minimum 20% protein on dry matter basis. And every cattle feed now it has become, you should have a BIS mark and you have to make accordingly. So the cattle feeds are available in plenty in the market, and cooperative sector. We normally, every cooperative sector, because our dairy ultimately belongs to the farmers. I like to say that Vice Chancellor sir, that the farmers also own Amul. Farmers only own Amul. So there are around 7 lakh farmers who own Kera Union. Similarly, there are 45 lakhs holding the entire Amul in Gujarat. So we have so many entrepreneurs in our Gujarat, and hence it is #1 in nation and many of the things. Then about animal health, this is taken care of normally by the veterinarians. You have to see what is the lamenesses, how the animal sits, how the animal walks, how the horn is, what should be the temperature, everything. Once, if the farmer knows, immediately they can take help of veterinarian and they can improve the health of the animal. Unless and until the animal is maintained nicely, because it should have a good clean place and good water to drink, and it has to be cleaned every day. So this is one of the most important things. If the health of the animal is not good, there are so many main things, which is maximum one is mastitis, which is followed by FMD, foot and mouth disease. Then you have pyrexia, you have 4-5, you have ROP after the birth of the animal calf. There are 6-7 major things which is coming into the cattle, which obstacles and it reduces the productivity of the animal. The farmer should be also taught about what care he has to take to the animals, and we have best veterinary services in the country. And this is again one more important thing. Every year the animal has to conceive. I've seen in some places people used to charge 400-500 rupees for every insemination, and somebody was crying that, so that person has come 10 times. and every month they will leave the time, and this all things are happening. So this has to be deeply focused. An experienced person with best quality semen has to be used for artificial insemination, which is now common all across the country. And even in that, there is a technology where fluorescency is used to separate out the sperm. So it is called sperm sorting technology, which got introduced somewhere in 1990s. Now in India, it is becoming popular. And if we do that, we'll get more of the female calves. Normally it is female and male. Normally they say 50-50, and we cannot see any male calf growing in the country, because in other countries abroad, they have it as for the culling purpose, it goes for the meat purpose, but in our country, we don't see any male calf. So for getting a better female calf, this sort of technologies is being thought of and is also being brought into the country, and this will give much help to the farmers, increasing the milk production. Then whenever whatever milk they produce, they have to think where they have to supply. They have given 4 or 5 things. The right corner, a lady pouring on the filter is from an organized sector. In other places, you will not know. People will come in cycles, bicycles, motorbikes, vans, and they will collect milk, and they will give whatever money you need on particular day. So they have to select which is the best person, whether it is a private or cooperative, whatever it is in the hands of farmers, but they have to select a genuine milk vendor, procurer, if they are unable to sell it directly, and this will enhance their profitability. And the main thing we have in cooperatives is the money goes to in the account of the farmer. No middleman is in between, for which Dr. Kurian had brought Amul into the nation. Then there are government schemes. There are so many government schemes which are coming in and going out. Many people do not know. Normally people know whenever there is election, they will give 2,000 rupees, 3,000 rupees. Normally people advertise this only. And normally I've been seeing TV news and all. Nobody advertises for the farmer. What any news channel, you will not find that. They will say that this yojana is available, that yojana is available, you can go get money. Only in some places Doordarshan does it. So this has to be done by philanthropists and institutions and other things, so that the farmers knows. For example, now recently around 14,000 crores has been given to control the diseases of mainly of FMD, for FMD vaccines. This is done by the government of India. Okay, the people in the area, the dairies, they have to take initiative, they have to get their animals done. So this is mainly done because we were #1 in export of meat, that many may not be knowing, but we know only that what to call slaughtering of cows and buffaloes in many states are banned. But we are still #2 in export of meat. So if we are only away and we are out of FMD, there is an organization in France, they will say that, okay, you can export meat and it will open up. So this sort of things are coming up in the nation. And also we have to know that if in many states they'll give money for buying a cow or a buffalo. So this has to go to the level of farmers, and they have to see and say NABARD dairy farming subsidy, how we have to take, how we can take the dairy farming. You have to decide the activity, register the facility, obtain the bank loan. Then from the bank you can take, then they'll release you the subsidy. This all things has to go to the person who are in need. That we have to do it in the country. Every government schemes has to be made public, and they have to give information to the persons who are in need. Then some advanced technology, wherever you have farms, you have to employ. And right now I'm working in quality assurance. The quality of milk in India, of course, we cannot compare it with the exotic countries, but we can bring it up. The milk coming out of the udder is as good as the milk coming out in Europe or whichever country you say. But we have to safely bring the milk to the dairy industry so that the quality of milk is best, and whatever surplus we have, we can export it to various countries. Amul is already exporting to various countries. The GCM of Marketing Federation exports the milk to many of the countries, and we are doing that. And the base is quality, not only the fat and enough. We know only about fat and enough. they go up to aflatoxin, melamine. There are around 15 veterinary drug residues and pesticide residues. Everything has to be tested. These all things also, whenever we say the technologies, we should know what all the things has to be fed to the animals. Normally, these are coming from the feed and the fodder. So this has to be known. And we have now digitalization. The farmers are so advanced in a country now. I think India is #1 country in the world to have mobiles and mobile application. We say we are poor country, but everybody has an Android phone, whether it is a farmer, even a beggar will have an Android phone with him. So this is the thing, and we have to make it utilized properly by giving. Now our farmers will get everything from the mobile application: how much milk he has supplied, how much cattle feed he has taken, how much, what is the age of his animal. Everything is there in the services. So whatever possible to reduce and to improve the environment, we have to go for digitalization, and this is highly required to go and keep whatever the nation is going along, or whatever the world is going ahead. We can go with the best technology. In 1990s, the automated dairies started coming in, and now we have huge dairies. Even some are better than the European dairy industry also. Then again, you talk about food safety. I'm a man of quality and food safety. Luckily I learned by working on floor only. You can see people, they watch buffaloes in the pond. Somebody may be taking water for cooking also from the same pond. And you find some of the organized fields, and you have that RMC, whatever you're seeing is the boy pouring the milk in the can. It is called RMC. It has come, it is rapid milk chiller. Within seconds, it will chill the milk to 2 to 3 degrees centigrade, so that the MBRT of the milk remains to around 4 to 5 hours also. Then we have BMCs, and now cans are also there. Cleaning and quality is utmost important thing, where it will bring the improve the profitability of dairy, and ultimately the amount will go back to the farmers. Then from the waste, from the wealth, there are so many things, waste which is generated. Now you can say that even cow urine, somebody told you drink cow urine, your corona will go off. No, that is not the thing, but everything has some Ayurvedic and medicinal values also. So even when I was young, so I have seen in my own, this is my grandfather's village, whatever the dung they have, they used to make a pat of the dung as this lady is making, and that was used as a fuel. So we South Indians normally eat in banana leaves. People used to laugh. You're not using spoon, fork, and stainless steel and porcelain plates. But the basic logic being what we are following, the banana leaves, it's a natural one. Nobody can, basic requirement of packaging material, it should be a virgin material. It's already virgin. If you put hot something there, it will change its color. So we'll come to know. Then whatever left over, you'll leave it and you will feed it to the animal. And the dung of the animal is taken and we use it. And you'll be wondering, if you go to the Amazon and see, you'll have handmade cow dung cakes are available. Normally, in some of the rituals we use this dung, even in Pongal, if you see the festival, they used to keep this and flame to make a dish like khichdi called Pongal. So this is now sold in Amazon. So if you go to Amazon website and see cow manure is available, so many things are available. So waste can be always made into a good wealth, and it is properly utilized. If one person cannot do it, again, if they can accumulate it in some centralized place, they can always generate some amount from waste too. That will automatically reduce the overall procurement expenditures and increase the productivity. And lastly, I'd like to say everybody should have love to the business, whatever business you do, whether you play, you cook, or even when you go around on a motorbike and enjoy. So you should love whatever you do. So it is brand affinity should come within you, one own self, then we can achieve everything. And finally, this should not happen. I thought I should put something on the screen. So you can see two kids playing that they did some mistake and say that what we can do. Ultimately, we can blame the cat is the best policy. This should not happen. So if we have everything, vision is clear, our target is clear, and if you are going in the right direction, always we will have success. And I'd like to say that doing a dairy business, especially for the base of the farmer, it will be the best for the next coming, I'll say at least for 50 more years. You may be there, we'll be serving for the next 6 to 8 years. But I'll say that for next 50 years to 100 years, dairy business will never go down. And if we are thinking to improve the life of the farmers and the cattle, automatically, I think that after 10 years, India will be in a different position. At least will not have anything going wrong in the villages for farmers, protection, all these things should not be there, at least by the support of the dairy people. And saying this, I'll say thanks to everybody who are listening from different places. Thanks to my management, thanks to the professors again, and thanks to my student. And I wish you a very best year 2021 and every year ahead. And thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir, for very informative talk. Good afternoon, all. Myself, Prashna Ratha, working as an assistant professor in Dairy Technology Department. I'm privileged to introduce our next speaker, Mr. Gaurav Parekh. He is the alumnus of our college. He completed BTech DT from SMC College of Dairy Science in 2010. Currently, he is a position as a CEO at Crave Editables Private Limited. Crave Edibles manufacture variety of sweets, namkeens, other ready to eat food products. He has a experience of in strategic planning, PR register, sales, product development, and branding of Crave Editables Private Limited. He built a client base from scratch to hundreds, involving achieving annual gross sales of 800 million rupees. Having such good experience in product development, marketing, sales of food products, I would like to invite Mr. Gaurav Parekh to share his knowledge and experience on topic new trends and change in consumer demand and behavior pre-COVID and post-COVID.
Thank you, Rachna.
Welcome, Mr.
Greetings to all. Before I begin with seminar, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to our Vice Chancellor, Dr. R.V. Vyas, Principal and Dean, Dr. J.B. Upadhyay, Professor and Head of DT, Dr. Sunita Pinto Madam, Professor and Head of Department of Dairy Processing and Operation, Dr. Atanu Jana Sir, for giving me the opportunity to speak on change in consumer demand and behavior. COVID-19 was first identified by World Health Organization on 31st December 2019 in Wuhan, China. After 1918 pandemic of influenza H1N1, which was the deadliest ever in 20th century, this is the second largest pandemic ever found. This pandemic has affected millions of lives throughout the world, which changed our lifestyles and impacted our behavior, habits, etc. India was heavily impacted, and on 24th March 2020, our Honorable Prime Minister announced countrywide lockdown, which impacted our habits too, and thus whole FMCG space was impacted. What challenges company and consumer had? What was the new normal? We'll go through a screen. I say this as resilience in uncertainty. What were the first Black Swan 2020? What were the FMCG sheep in turbulent year? Due to national lockdown, FMCG sales was down by 34% in April 2020. Traditional trade sales contracted by 38%. Only modern trade was not declined. It only declined by 5% in the same period. The reasons were unprecedented supply disruption, retail sector disrupted, reverse migration impacted FMCG players, smaller incomes led to conservative spends. All the initial challenges driven by lockdown led to a temporary disruption both on demand and on the supply side. The sector faced some unprecedented challenges and was not prepared to deal with it initially. Localized, like unprecedented supply disruption, localized lockdowns in different parts of India due to different policy. Supply chain was the bottleneck. Traditional distribution models were tested, which further paved the way for new model. Similarly, smaller income led to conservative spends, widespread job losses and salary cuts led a substantial reduction in discretionary demand. Significant downgrading to smaller, cheaper SKUs or an altogether shift to more competitively priced brand. Retail sector, heightened hygiene concerns and disease care combined with regional lockdown norms impacted footfall across retail formats. Personal care brands that rely on own store sales took a heavy hit as footfalls fell by 40 to 50%. Manufacturing sector faced 44% worker shortage in the initial months. Such shortage led to lower capacity utilization, higher product cost, and margin contraction. What was quarter 2 for us after April-May lockdown? The silver lining that followed FMCG space. FMCG market expanded by 4.9% in quarter 2. The volume growth was its highest in 3 years. The volume growth was driven by hygiene category. This is one of the new category. It is new essential in this new normal. By hygiene category, purchases and out of home snacking shifting to in-home consumption. Increasing importance of digital as a sales channel. FMCG players sales grew by 30 to 50%. Gross sales of this festive season for e-commerce players saw a 65% growth to achieve sales of 58,000 crore. Online grocery platforms saw a surge in traffic due to witnessing an annual rate of return of 70% YTD, with gross margin value expected to cross 3 billion this year. Packaged food was the attraction. It saw unprecedented traction as people started stockpiling in the face of supply uncertainties. Vocal for local, like our honorable Vice Chancellor said, Atmanirbhar Bharat. So vocal for local was to that alignment. Proximity of Kirana store gave them a significant advantage in the lockdown phase. Major players like ITCA, HUL extended credit and made early payments to Kirana stores. Digitalization of general trade, like big platforms like Udan, Big Bazaar, Jio Kirana, all Kirana got listed and sold their maximum goods. HUL plan to digitize GT has shown traction of 270,000 GTs outlets are using its ordering app Shikhar. Evolving consumer trades, health and hygiene. India accounted for 20% of vitamin and health supplements launches across Asia. As we are looking for consumer habits change, what was the new purchase consideration and how it got? So hygiene was the priority. Unbranded goods sales were down. Home delivery is on peak, and crowded place, all public places where there was no traffic and crowded place, and there was no sales. So driven by new hygiene standard, the consumer is likely to increase his preference towards branded staples, and the leading player in these categories are likely to benefit the most. Like rice, edible oil, atta, tea, all were dominated by branded players. Home delivery like Big Basket, JioMart, Grofers, they grew by 20%, 40% respectively. So habits that are likely to sustain in the long run are heightened hygiene consciousness and stronger preference for button push shopping. What is worth observing is the brand stickiness of smaller regional brands, which benefited due to their immediate availability in the lockdown phase. Riding high on consumer sentiments, lockdown led to significant growth in customer base of online grocery. The channel saw 1.7 times increase in subscribing households in June 2020 compared to January 2020. At 0.5%, online grocery is still a minuscule part of the entire Indian grocery market, but is expected to contribute 2.3% by 2024, growing at a robust annual growth rate of 58%. The segment witnessed an annual rate return of more than 70% on YTD basis, with GMV expected to cross USD 3 billion by the end of financial year 21. E-grocery grew 73% during the lockdown phase. Most notably, fresh vegetables, fruits saw 144% growth, while packaged products saw 150% growth on online stores. With the growing demand in the grocery category, online food aggregators like Swiggy and Zomato had entered the segment in the beginning. Online grocery was already on a fast-paced growth before Corona. However, the lockdown took the user base to much greater heights. More pronounced price and hygiene consciousness. Consumer focus on necessity. Essential was the requirement during lockdown. In-home consumption products like direct to use products were in demand. Accountable consumption on the rise. Environment consciousness like eco-friendly of brands were ranked as the highest parameter influencing shoppers, followed by natural and organic ingredients. This is supported by the fact that 3/4 of Generation Z are willing to pay more for sustainable products. This highlights the growth for accountable consumption. Health-oriented snacking. The share of health-oriented products is in home snacking is increasing. As in-home consumption increases, consumer will shift towards healthier alternatives for snacking. Consumers have become cautious with what they purchase with work from home, finding more traction due to lockdown phase. In-home consumption of necessities and staples has increased. Online sale channels have shown more traction than their counterparts. Category dynamics, looking into the category, atta had a 45% growth, rice 67, breakfast cereal 66, cheese was 66%. Health, hygiene, and staples are the driving consumption. As on June 20, health, hygiene, and nutrition contribute 80% of the total Unilever sales. In Q2, supplements, OTC, ethical saw 70, 56, and 26% growth year-on-year basis. ITC launched more than 70 innovative products in hygiene, health, naturals, and convenience space. Marico has forayed into Ayurvedic immunity boosting products due to significant tailwinds in this subcategory. New product launches, surge in sales, and high projected growth in health, hygiene, packaged staples is expected to sustain these growth trends. This is the mapping of the categories. Given the eminent price sensitivity, discretionary segments are expected to see a short-term negative impact on growth prospects. However, increasing consumption of essentials and other trending categories will lead to sustained performance for the overall FMCG space. These are the national players, how they grew. Food and beverages was the highest growth they have received. Unilever 83%, except Dabur, Marico, Britannia, Nestle, all have grown. How brands have adapted to this consumer demand. TV ad spends to fall 18% in 2020. 1171 advertising stopped spending. Overall television ad pie has degrown by 43% in the first half of 2020. Rising digital ad revenue. Digital ad revenues are likely to shoot up to 29,000 crore in 2020, ahead of 25,000 crore that television channels will make. OTT ads will enable precision in targeting. The rise of in-home entertainment is driving brand to OTT advertising as it gives brands a better ROI. E-commerce continued to grow. Online retail has witnessed a surge. Safety concerns help to e-commerce to grow through lockdown. National traditional players become major ad buyers in financial year 21. Ad tech, fantasy gaming, e-commerce, OTT platform like Amazon Prime, ZEE5, Netflix. A new category of strong spenders emerge on traditional platforms in the form of ad tech, fantasy gaming, e-commerce, and OTT players. However, they did not stop the downtrending of revenues for traditional mediums like TV and print. These are the major campaigns. As health was the immunity products, health was the target for consumer. These are the ad campaign that were Haldi milk from Mother Dairy. Amul has launched Haldi milk, Tulsi milk, Chyawanprash, Horlicks immunity booster. Some impulsive category like jelly was fortified with vitamin C and zinc, so it was by ITC. These are all FMCG. This was Ashirwad ITC launch and a few Dabur products. What are the new products? New products that were launched. Hygiene was on the demand and food and beverage in food and beverage category. So Ashirwad's new superfood atta immunity based juice were launched. Ashirwad Swasti Lassi. Some products like chutneys by Dabur, homemade chutneys were launched by Dabur, and low calorie juice, turmeric milk by Real, Frap milk shakes, and some juices like coconut water, cold pressed mustard oil, etc. Immunity boosters product like Kada and many other products were launched, Amla juice. So that was on the demand. These are another space. Like bakery and dairy, again, health point of view, they had launched few products. Ready to eat breakfast, desi snacks, Maggie had launched. Pawa, upma, pasta sauce, and many other products. new launch trends and fast selling products, increasing interest from consumer for immunity boosting products. 85% of the Indian consumer were extremely worried about exposure to COVID-19. Consumer behavior to focus on health and hygiene, new product launches to cater to the immunity trend, rural markets are driving growth. These are just the financial highlights, nothing else. India shines back again Q3 of 2021 where Diwali was there. All e-commerce players are uplifting the economy as well as conventional companies too. So Myntra, Shopclose, JioMart, Flipkart had great sales. They had 58,000 crore, 56% growth on YOY basis. 58,000 crore was the 1 month sale. Online sales highlight consumption trends. So rural pockets were the main area where they had received good sales, increased reliance on credit, and product categories that are boosting sales, that doesn't come in FMCG, but then also I just identified laptops and another space. So despite the shift towards necessity-based buying, online Diwali sales have shown in a resurgence in categories like smartphones, consumer electronics, and fashion. Light at the end of the tunnel. So there are some recovery green shoots. Rural demand boost was already there due to packaged food demand. Government incentive of 10,000, 11,000 crore in food processing sector was the key. Heightened prospect for COVID-19 vaccine rollout helps the economy in general, and revival in retail footfalls. These are the recovery of after Q1 and Q2, recovery of Q3. Sales were good. Thank you. So just to have a summary, purchase was through digital, cooking was at home, so major products was direct to use products. Branded goods were preferred. These were the major consumer behavior changes. Rural demanded branded goods. Health and hygiene was the new essential. Immunity-based products were launched. So new normal will remain as it is, like this behavior is supposed to be continued in 2022, 2023 also. So it was a time to look back to our Ayurveda, where we consider food as the medicine. Thank you.
Hello. For the viewers, it's a pleasure to know that Arun Patil Saab is chairman of IDA Western Region. He is gracing the occasion with us. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Doctor, do you want me to address? You are on mute, sir.
Yes, sir. 2 minutes. You may please.
Oh, I thought it is just
Yeah, please do, sir.
Anyway, I'm very delighted to be on this online platform and to hear the wonderful speakers. Gopal Krishnanji, anyway, he is a very experienced and with lots of industry things under his belt. But I'm very impressed with Gaurav's presentation. It's a very detailed presentation.
Yes.
And he has touched the trends, which is really crux of the whole thing. And this is where we, as an industry, has to take the clue. Another thing which I have noted is that bigger is always better. As you have seen, all the rural people, city dwellers, young, old, wherever there were crises, only the big companies, big organizers, big cooperatives, they only did wonderful job. I need not to tell you who is the biggest, Amul. And of course, under the lap of Amul, there are 18 unions in the Gujarat and other cooperatives in the different states also. Of course, the bigger private sector players also. They came to the rescue of the people. During all the, let me use the worst days, dairy industry was the only industry which was working 24/7. And because of them, everybody was able to get a cup of tea and coffee in the morning. They could get their milk and milk products on dot, barring couple of few days, I should say. So one thing we have to realize, so all the small players, first thing, they did not have the infrastructure. Second thing, they did not have the financial power to hold the products and the inventory. So a time has come, all the small players, handlers, they should join the hands with the bigger, especially in private sector. They should restrict their activities only to the procurement zones so that wherever there is no reach of the bigger players, so they can just procure and give it to the bigger players. Of course, cooperatives have been doing wonderful work. Once again, they have assured the country they are there not only for the producers, but for the consumers also. And the trends which Gaurav has very nicely presented, only thing his presentation was in a very smaller font. I don't know how people will be able to read it. I will request Gaurav to share with all others who are attending this program. This is what we have to read, how the wind is blowing. So when you go to the brick brand, first thing, you are assured quality. Second thing, you are assured of the delivery. And third thing, you are assured of the price. They will never change their prices overnight if there is a scarcity or there is a shortage. So these are the three assurances which give consumers very, very comfortable level. So wonderful things. And thank you for allowing me to share my views. All the best. It's a wonderful program. Please go on.
Thank you, sir. And we have luminaries, alumni like Gokul Krishnan and Gaurav Parekh, and Ankur Jhawar will be coming, of course.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Hand it over to Komal, Dr. Komal Patel.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now we have with us our next speaker, Dr. Ajay Gokhale, sir. He is working as Assistant Professor in Department of Dairy Technology. He has joined the college in 1989 and later he obtained his master's degree in 1996 and doctoral degree in 2016 from the same college. He started his career with Vadilal Ice Cream, followed by Sugam, a unit of Baroda Dairy and aseptic packaging station. He has expertise in development of processed cheese bread and many dietetic products like Basundi, Kulfi, Shrikhand and many more. He has many national and international publications to his credit. So now I invite Dr. Gokhale sir to start with his presentation. He'll be speaking on the topic, spices and herbs in fermented dairy products. Sir, please.
Thank you, Komal, for a brief introduction. Just for the sake of information to all, ऐसा समझो तो मैं 12वां खिलाड़ी हूँ. Actually, the topic was assigned to Dr. Chetan Dharaiya, and topic is application of herbs and spices in fermented dairy products. So we consider as such milk is a nutritious product, and if you do the fermentation also, that adds to the value to the product, that is milk, by pre-digesting the proteins and fats and making it more bioavailable. Correct. So why to go for addition of herbs and spices? This must be a question. So normally we know that particular dairy products, milk, When we do the fermentation, some enhancement in shelf life always we aim at, and we get it also. But to assure the safety and enhancement of shelf life, we need to control the bacterial growth. And for that purpose is, till now we are using artificial or natural antibiotics. Yeah, they can control the growth or they can subside the growth of the unwanted organisms along with the starter cultures, by thereby enhancing the shelf life of the product. Correct. But if you can replace this with the natural antibiotics, which have once again more effect in improving the health of the human beings if they are consuming, they are the herbs and spices, or you can say in general, you can say phytochemicals. So we need to have phytochemicals in a regular day. And we have seen this pandemic era, particularly COVID-19, many of this phytochemicals, either in the form of supplements, has been given to the patients as a precautionary measure or as a remedy also. And it has worked well. And it has resulted in less death rate in the India compared to the European countries and US countries. So herbs, if you consider the source, the Egyptians were dealing somewhere around 3,000 years ago in this. And from that source, it has been traveled to India. And since last centuries, India and China is the leading country. India and China is the leading country where we are producing more of the herbs in China. And for your information, that India is the first country, number one country in production and exports of herbs and spices to the various countries, including China. So why addition of herbs to the products, food products, it's a normal practice in our Indian tradition. And that helps in improving the flavor of the product, that helps in improving the taste of the product, you can say, and side by side, that will give you the health aspects also. For example, just Amul has launched the Haldi milk just to improve the health. That is turmeric. If you consider World Health Organization survey pointed out that around 70 to 80% of the world population depends upon herbal source in their major health. And particularly in developing countries, 80% of the population and up to 60% of the world population depends upon directly or indirectly on herbs and the components, that herbs and plant components for their medical benefits. Herbs and spices have been utilized as an additive all over the world. Let it be a pasta or pizzas where we contain oregano. We add oregano. That is an herb. Maybe for flavor, but simultaneously that can give you the healthy effects also. So dairy products, if you consider, as our Honorable Vice Chancellor told, that our life starts with the milk and ends with the milk. And if this is the, yes, this is the true case. So why not to use this milk and milk products as a carrier for herbs and spices? Herbs and spices, because they can deliver the safety, they can deliver the increased acceptance by flavoring the food products. And when we add these herbs and spices to the foods become nutraceutical. The foods become nutraceutical. And if we add to this dairy products, its functionality is increasing. So that means we can say that though we know that milk is a functional product or food product, we can increase more functionality by incorporating herbs and spices into the milk and milk products. So why that is the need for supplement, herbal supplement? क्यों है? Because see, many of the herbs and spices, they are pungent in smell. They are pungent in smell. So many people may not like it. They have some odd taste as such if it is consumed. As such it is consumed, it have a odd taste. So mental comfort is less if you want to take as such. And that's why it needs to be either incorporated into food or better ways, make a supplement along with some additives. It can address the common problems. It can address the common problems in the day-to-day life if we are taking herbal supplements, and can help in preventing the costlier treatment, that is allopathic treatment, which is very costly. The role of cultural factors in rural areas as concept of interplay between environment and culture, that is man and earth relationship. Reports of adverse effects on conventional medications are found, and there are very less reports observed or reported for the herbal supplements. And substances found in herbs and spices are phenolic acids, or you can say phenolic compounds and the derivatives, maybe furanocoumarines, alkaloids, lactones, polysaccharides, and glycoproteins, and have a similar action on steroidal ergotropics while having no adverse side effects. So this is the goodness of the herbs and spices. So just I listed some sources of herbs and spices. Any plant, if you consider, we can say that from leaf to seeds, all can act as an herb or spices depending on different plant sources. Leaves, examples we know is basil, oregano, thyme, mint, marjoram. Bark, cinnamon, one of the best spice, I'll say, or you can say herb. And variety of cinnamon is cassia that can be also used. Flowers, birds, and pistil, that is clove and saffron is the example. If you would consider ginger and turmeric. And in seeds, there are many seeds: ajwain, aniseed, coriander, dill, fennel, fenugreek, and mustard. So there are different sources, and some research have reported the antimicrobial properties possessed by many of the herbs and spices. For example, garlic can be effective against Salmonella typhimurium, Escherichia coli, Staphylococcus aureus, onion against Aspergillus species, Flavis and Parasiticus. Cinnamon, it is mycotoxin Aspergillus, effective against and Aspergillus parasiticus. Clove and mustard, it is mycotoxin Aspergillus. Oregano against Salmonella species. Thyme, Vibrio parahematicus, and many more. Research demonstrate that many of the herbs and spices are effective against wide spectrum of bacteria, molds, and yeasts. This will how, before going to see the application of the main title, application of herbs and spices into the dairy, fermented dairy products. Just we'll have few highlight of what is the herbs and what are the health effects that it can impart. Cinnamon, it contains a compound, active compound is cinnamaldehyde, and other compounds are there. And cinnamon is potent antioxidant. It helps in fighting inflammation, helps in lowering cholesterol and triglycerides in the blood. And cinnamon has been reported to lower the blood sugar by slowing of the breakdown of the carbs in the digestive tract and improving the insulin sensitivity. So it is a good candidate to be incorporated into the milk or fermented milks. The next, turmeric. So I have included few only. Those we will be discussing in the application part. So turmeric active compound is curcumin, and it is helping in boosting the body's own antioxidant enzymes. And we have been listening and reading into the medias that patent on turmeric was initiated by US countries and then it has been reversed. So from that much news also we can anticipate that what would be the impact of turmeric in our day-to-day life. And for the information, just since last 4 to 5 years, I am also taking the turmeric milk every day. Though Amul has launched recently. And curcumin is strongly anti-inflammatory that improves the brain function, fights the Alzheimer, reduce the risk of heart diseases and cancers, and relieve arthritis. Basil, tulsi जो बोलते हैं हम. Yeah, it's a normal plant growing, and if you consider the older days, if I consider, and particularly in the villages and small towns, we have a habit of implanting a basil plant at the entry of the house. तुलसी मेरे आंगन की. तो ये क्यों किया जाता था? Because they were knowing what is the importance of basil. It can boost the function of immune system by increasing the certain immune cells in the blood, and thereby improving the health aspects, thereby improving the disease fighting capacity of the human beings. और मुझे याद है कि my grandmother used to tell that at least have a 10 to 15 leaves of basil a day, and fortunately will not accompany any disease, or you will be able to fight against diseases. This also helps in reducing stress, anxiety, and depression also, basically. Sage improves the brain function and memory, and particularly Alzheimer's disease. This is very much important. And how it works? This reduces the breakdown of acetylcholine, which is a messenger, chemical messenger. This is a messenger in brain. This inhibits the breakdown of acetylcholine and thereby improves in Alzheimer's disease condition. Essential oil from sage has been found to possess antimicrobial activities against wide range of bacteria. Marjoram. So it's an aromatic herb. There is even sage, marjoram. These are all coming in the class of mint family. Parsley, you can say thyme. And so marjoram has been proved as nerve tonic and heart tonic. So that can increase your impulses, make you fit and fine, promotes better blood circulation and thereby better oxygen to the cells. And particularly if you consider marjoram oil is used for cups, improving the, so it is a normal disease occurring in the humans at least once in a year in a normal healthy person. So if a gallbladder complaints, it can relieve from stomach cramps and digestive disorders, depressions, dizziness, migraines, nervous headaches, and nerve pain. And that's why if you see nervous headaches, nerve pains, and stomach cramps and all, they are related to nerve impulses, and that can improve the disease condition. Rosale, so it's a powerhouse of vitamins: vitamin A, vitamin B1, vitamin B2, vitamin B9, and vitamin C. And we know that vitamins and minerals, they act as a minor healthy components for improving the metabolic activities in the human beings. and that's why they are considered as micronutrients. And I'll say that in absence of macronutrients, particularly if you consider carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, if the intake of micronutrients is decreasing, it will be unnoticed. It will be unnoticed. And at one stage, we may find that we are suffering from one or other diseases. Vitamin B12 related to nerve diseases. Loss of calcium related to bone diseases. Potassium deficiency related to heart diseases. So that's why if we incorporate early, it can improve the quality in terms of nutritional as well as pharmacological quality of the food. Yeah. Excess of consumption, that can have the laxative effect of roselle. But it has an ability to increase urination and thereby removing the toxic materials through urine. And that can give the relief during hot weather. And also, it has a role to play in helminthic diseases. That is worms, which are occurring in the foods of many of the persons. So that can help in improving the disease condition, that is particularly helminthic diseases. Allium, मतलब अपना onion, garlic, leek, scalliot. These are the allium group of plants. And particularly allium is accompanied or known by its sulfur compounds. And as such, we know that sulfur compounds are very much pungent in taste and smell. So incorporation of such allium compounds in normal foods to have a healthy effect is a job where you require much of the proficiency, because people will not like more pungent taste in their foods, with some exceptions, always are there. So allium, this active compounds, there is ajoins, leucine, diallyl sulfide, disulfide, trisulfide, and others are there, which have antibacterial, antifungal effect. Even it has been reported that leucine can also deactivate the viruses. And yes, we can try. I think I don't have come across. But those particular people, particularly in the villages, we have seen that many of the persons, village people, they are used to take garlic in normal diet, maybe in the tadka or maybe in the crushed form in the chutneys and all. And what we have seen is less reporting of this COVID-19 in the villages. Maybe one of the causes, it is my speculation, not the reports. Okay. Health benefits are cardiovascular protection, anti-cancer activity, lowering blood level cholesterols, triglycerides, and lowering blood pressure. Thyme and parsley is the family of your mint family. They are rich source of vitamin C and vitamin A, and other source is copper, fiber, iron, and manganese. So that can improve the startup culture growth. The manganese, copper, they can act as a catalyst for the growth of startup culture, and thereby improving the fermentation also. The parsley, resource of vitamin K that supports the heart and bone health, protect against cancer and improve the eye health. Okay. Rosemary, it's an excellent herb which is rich source of antioxidants and anti-inflammatory compounds like pentacymine, linalool, gamma terpenes, and all. That helps in boosting the immune system and improve the blood circulation. Because these are the two components we see. Immune system should be strong, and better blood circulation will always keep the person healthy. And that you can judge by your respiratory cycles, how long you can inhaled oxygen. Okay. Rosemary is considered as a cognitive stimulant and prevents allergies and nasal congestions. So see, if nasal congestions are removed, you can breathe normally. So this was just brief introduction of some of the herbs and spices. So we'll see what are the applications. And if you consider fermented food, yogurt is the best carrier for many of the herbs and spices. As such, if you consider milk is nourishing food. And when we do the fermentation, and also along with the probiotics incorporation and prebiotics incorporation, that will improve the value of the yogurt. We have listed many of this impacts, health impacts of the yogurt. That includes your lower blood pressure, strengthen the bones, improve the brain function, improve the skin health and all. So we'll see fastly what are the health benefits or what people have tried. Researchers have tried to incorporate different types of herbs and spices and what is the impact. So just in nutshell, before we go run through the application parts, just to tell you, the herbs and spices are added for the two purposes mainly. One is improving the flavor of the product, and secondly, improving the shelf life of the product. And third, may not be the last, but third, improving the probiotics growth in the fermented milk. With these three aims. Otherwise, the health impacts what we have seen is always there reported in the Ayurvedas and Charak Samhitas. So there is no need as such, I think so, for confirming this health impacts of these spices and herbs. So scientist Berhard, he added cinnamon and licorice in the yogurt fermentation, and he's seen the effect against the H. pylori in vitro. So H. pylori is an organism which disrupts your intestine by increasing the ulcerative colitis it can cause. And for that purposes, this have been tried. This incorporation cinnamon licorice, pH decreases, acidity increases. That means it has no effect on the bacterial growth as such. That is LABs. But cinnamon yogurt exhibited the strongest inhibitory effect on H. pylori compared to licorice. And plain yogurt, or the yogurt which was not added with any licorice or cinnamon, had shown the minimum inhibition, that is 10.5 mm. So obviously cinnamon has an inhibition effect on growth of H. pylori. Allium, garlic, जो हमने बात भी किया था, and cinnamon were added, that is water extract added in the fermentation. And what was observed is the presence of allium sativum, that is garlic, and cinnamon verum, water extracts in all the three types of milk they have tried. This cow, camel, and goat, and that did not affect the pH reduction. That means pH reduction was normal. So what is the impact that can be added to this fermented milk? One thing is proven, and another is we can have the health benefits of such herbs. Proteolytic activity was assessed of this allium and cinnamon, and what was observed is the proteolytic activity, the viability, if you can see, the viability is increased of Streptococcus thermophilus and Lactobacillus species. This is the normal starter culture for the yogurt. Along with the Bifidobacterium bifidum, probiotic organism was added, and we have seen that the probiotic count increased. Then halal and Talixuchi supplemented cinnamon powder into yogurt. And what it displayed is yogurt matrix improved the bioaccessibility of gastrointestinal stability of cinnamon polyphenols. And that has an increased phenolic content and radical scavenging activity, thereby improving the antioxidant properties of the product. Different levels of beetroot and ginger were tried in buffalo, cow, and goat milk yogurts. And antioxidant activity was measured. So it was observed that 2% levels of ginger and beetroot in goat milk yogurt, followed by cow and buffalo milk yogurt, the antioxidant activity was reported higher in case of ginger extract compared to beetroot. The effects of peppermint, dill, and basil on yogurt formation, proteolysis, and inhibition of angiotensin I converting enzyme was studied. And herbal yogurts had a faster rate of pH reduction than plain yogurt that we can see here in the graphical presentation. Similarly, total phenolic content concentration was highest in case of helium, while similar antioxidant capacity, that is in terms of percent inhibition of DPPH oxidation, was also highest in allium, followed by mint, followed by basil. Say changes in ophthalate aldehyde values were highest in case of mint, followed by basil, and then mixed reports were there for allium. Well, plain had a minimum values for that, and methaldehyde activities or values. The presence of herbal extracts altered the yogurt bacteria and leading to enhanced acidification of yogurts, formation of peptides, and inhibition of S was reported. And proteolytic activity of yogurt bacteria during fermentation and refrigerated storage was highest in mint, followed by allium, followed by basil. So addition, that means you can successfully you can add either mint, or you can add basil, or you can add allium. The scientists say that without much affecting the sensible properties of the formed yogurts. With improved proteolytic activity, thereby improving the digestibility and have health benefits. Roselle extract, along with the Lactobacillus acidophilus in the manufacture of goat milk-based yogurt was studied. And what was observed is increased antimicrobial activity and extensive selectivity for gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria. That is Bacillus cereus, Escherichia coli, Staphylococcus, and Salmonella typhi. And that's might be because of the antimicrobial compounds, including antimicrobial peptides and organic acid production during fermentation in the presence of roselle extract. Yogurt supplemented with Rosa marinus officinus at different rate, and they found that storage time had no effect on physicochemical properties of prepared yogurts, but they improved the qualities of yogurt by decreasing the pH. That means it has no side effect or direct effect on the growth of starter culture. The scientists wanted to prove that, and this is required See, because when we add many of the herbs and spices, we say that many of the herbs and spices have antimicrobial activity or antibacterial activity. So the question is there whether they will allow the growth of starter culture or not. That needs to be proved first. Then we can add these such products for health benefits. Labne was tried in Middle East. It's a concentrated yogurt, and they had been added with the thyme, marjoram, and sage, that is mint family, and labne containing 0.2 ppm of thyme extract, marjoram extract, or sage extracts were acceptable, and that increased the shelf life of the product without affecting the starter culture growth. Then addition of 2 microliter of dill extract was done as a caraway essential oil to labne, and that increased the shelf life of 28 days, up to 28 days. That fortification of labne with Moringa oleifera, and that improved the scavenging activity, free radical scavenging activity. That improved the TVFA, that is flavor was improved by addition of Moringa oleifera in the labne. And what they say that can be considered as a novel addition, yeah. And for in our college also we have studied regarding the use of Moringa oleifera, that is Moringa powder, in buttermilk and in processed cheese spreads.
Dr. Gokhale, try to condense and finish in 5 minutes.
Yeah, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, yeah. So more than 900 varieties we have seen that cheese, and many of the cheeses containing these spices and herbs. It has been reported, and particularly they have been added with the intention of reducing the or of growth of pathogens, potential pathogens like Salmonella typhimurium, Listeria monocytogenes, Staphylococcus aureus, and Escherichia coli. And this was achieved by addition of pepper, fresh pepper and dry pepper herbs. That improves the sensory properties also. And this has been given this different antioxidant activities of different herbs has been studied in the cheeses. And what we can see is garlic, rosemary. So rosemary gives the highest total proteolytic count as gallic acid equivalent, more DPPH activity and more FRAP activity compared to other herbs. Similarly, this is inhibition, if you can see, compared to other herbs, parsley, dill, pepper, and garlic, rosemary is excellent in inhibiting the Salmonella, Escherichia, Enterococcus, Staphylococcus, and Listeria. Addition of cinnamon, cardamom, fenugreek powder to goat's milk curd after coagulation, and what these improve the flavor of the goat's product. And we know that goat products are slightly inferior in flavor compared to cow milk or buffalo milk fermented products. Increasing scavenging activity was achieved by addition of black pepper, black cumin, and clove. And antioxidant activity of the spicy cheeses was lower than spices in the powder form, they reported. And it was not affected by storage at different temperatures. In Dumyati cheese, addition of black cumin seed oil was done. And it was reported that foodborne if antibacterial activity against pathogens. Total bacterial count, if you the graphical presentation, you can see it decreased when we added 0.1 and 0.2% of black cumin seed oil compared to control. The same it has been shown here against Listeria monocytogenes, Salmonella, Staphylococcus aureus, E. coli, and compared to control, the growth of this were suppressed or eliminated also. And if you can see that it was reported that addition of 0.1% of black cumin seed oil was better. That is allium species, once again your garlic was added into the cheese at various levels, and herb level they say that should not exceed 2% of the cheese milk, which resulted in the maximum acceptable sensory because it was giving very pungent flavor. So Otlu cheese was incorporated with the garlic, wild garlic, and that improved the flavor and improved the shelf life of the product. That has been delineated by the scientist. The Staphylococcus aureus, Listeria monocytogenes, Salmonella enterica in cheese at room temperature were studied by cinnamon stick, pomegranate peel, grape seed, oregano, and clove. And this shows that compared to control, the growth is reduced. Lipid oxidation was also reduced compared to control. Moringa oleifera extracts to cream cheese, just like your cheese spread, were done at rate of 2 to 3-4%. And they reported that increase in total phenolic content and antioxidant activity of the final product increased, and thereby increasing the shelf life by 4 weeks. Dahi and lassi has been prepared by supplementing aloe vera and probiotics. And aloe vera supports the growth of probiotic strain. And what they reported is more than 12 days of storage period with the 7 log of count of probiotics. Yogurt spread were prepared by Kumar et al. And they had been incorporated with the mint in the yogurt spread. And 2% mint had a higher sensory scores there. And shelf life was observed at 10 days and stored at 5 degrees centigrade. Shaken ashwagandha has been incorporated, and 0.5% of ashwagandha can be incorporated very easily without affecting the sensorial properties of the shrikan. And such product was acceptable up to 52 days. So finally concluding that we can say herbs and spices is our day-to-day life's tradition, believe it or not, because we add turmeric into our many of the vegetables preparation. We add dill, we add cumins. So they all have a healthy effects. Yes, incorporation of such herbs will definitely improve the quality of the dairy products, but with the caution that it should not impact the sensorial properties of the product. That has to be studied. So numerous technological challenges are there. For example, just for information, when we try to incorporate turmeric into the milk, it settles as if chocolate milk or cocoa milk. So there is some technological challenges are there, how to incorporate turmeric into the milk without settling, and has been overcome by Amul. So certain challenges are there when we incorporate herbs and spices into the product. But definitely its incorporation will improve our immune properties, improve our disease fighting abilities. So with this, thank you.
Thank you, sir, for this informative presentation. Now we have with us our next speaker, Mr. Ankur Jawar. He is a pass out of this college and he did his master's from Nutrition and Food Sciences from Utah University, USA. He started his career from Valsad District Cooperative Milk Producers Union Limited,
And after that, he joined as a technical manager, Glanbia Nutritionals USA. Also worked as process research scientist, and at present he is the director of technical services, Glanbia Nutritionals USA. Talking about his expertise, he has expertise in development, innovation, and manufacturing of various dairy and non-dairy specialized nutritional food ingredients. He has also expertise in processing technology such as freeze drying, sterile filtration, agglomeration, and instantization, engineering and commissioning of new products, data interpretation, and strategic decision making. He has done research on isolation and characterization of lipid profile of isolated aggregates of lipid from bovine milk and whey. We are happy to have you with us. He'll be speaking on the topic Way Beyond Whey, Functional Dairy Ingredients with a Wealth of Health Benefits. Now I invite Mr. Ankur Jawar for his presentation.
Well, thank you, Dr. Patel there. And I'm not sure if can you hear me here? I'm not able to present the screen
Yes,
at
sir.
this point.
Yes, sir. You are.
Thank
Yes,
you.
we are able to hear you. Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay. It says that, just a minute, sorry. So Dr. Gottlieb, I think it's your presentation still there. Oh, there you go. Now I can see that. Thank you. Appreciate that. First of all, hello, and I would like to say Happy New Year to everyone joining here. So with that, I would just appreciate the opportunity that's given to me, and I'm really excited right now and how to control my excitement, to be here as a proud alumnus in front of you and joining respected professors and like dear friends and students there. So again, thank you everyone. And with that, without further delay, I would like to jump on my topic here to talk about the whey and whey products and their health benefits associated with that, and basically functional and nutritional benefits. So this is just kind of a basic introduction to whey and whey products, and just would like to introduce, whey protein there and other whey ingredients. So what is whey? So in general term, when cheese making, when we coagulate the casein, whatever left over in the liquid portion goes, that's the whey components in it. So it is known as whey. So just to give you an example, if we start with 10 kgs of milk there, and we end up 1 kg of cheese and around 9 kgs of whey. So approximately 90% of the milk component actually goes in whey. So everybody likes cheese, but in making cheese, as you can see, we want 1 kg of cheese, making it's approximately 90% of yield is end up in whey. So in the past, this whey being treated as a waste product and actually being utilized in kind of land applications or kind of even like animal feed. So mostly it's treated as a waste, but now with the science and technology out there, it allows us to explore whey products and application of whey into a variety of categories, including food applications, nutritional supplements, pharmaceuticals, you name it. There has been studied out, and this whey and whey product has been studied extensively and proven that it provides a nutritional support at every stages of life in different sectors, starting from, as you can see, like from infant nutrition to muscle building, healthy aging there, and weight management, pregnancy, clinical trials, pharmaceuticals, then animal nutrition, etc. So what does this whey contain? So 93% of whey is actually water, right? And then 7% of the solids that contain, it has lactose in it, and protein, minerals, and fat. So when we talk about whey protein concentrate, whey protein isolates in the market, actually we are talking about this 1% of protein that gets concentrated down to around 70 to 90% of protein. And how we do that is just kind of separating the protein from different components out. So in current dairy industry environment, with the technology out there and the science out there, it actually allows us to separate each and every component from whey, and utilize even the water. We talk about 93% of water there, so we can remove that water and utilize that water again in the dairy industry. Sorry about that. In the dairy industry, and basically using the cleaning, or maybe as a process aid again. So if we have to transport whey from one plant to the another plant in the industry environment, actually reduces the transportation cost now a lot, and actually with no waste there, reduce the environmental load. So what are these processing and technologies out? So I would like to touch base on the two specific technologies. One is a membrane filtration, another is ion exchange. So membrane filtration, as we all know, is based on the based on the sizes of different components in the whey, and also and depending on the size of the membranes pores we have. So in whey, as we know, it has a different components like bacteria, even fat, casein, micelles, some of the casein that's left over as from cheese making, whey protein, lactose, minerals, and water. So it has different sizes of the components, and now we utilize different different membrane filtration, like microfiltration, ultrafiltration, nanofiltration, reverse osmosis, and the surface of these membranes has pores with different sizes. So, like for example, microfiltration has a bigger pore size that allows whey protein, lactose, and minerals and water to pass through, but actually retain the bigger particles like bacteria, fat, casein, micelles there. Similarly, in ultrafiltration, it allows lactose, minerals, water to pass through, but retain whey protein. Followed by nanofiltration, can pass minerals and water, and reverse osmosis can pass water, but allow retain other components. So physically, these membranes look like a spiral wound membrane, as I'm showing on this picture here. This is how physically it look like. And when we cut open these membranes, this is kind of a cross-sectional. It will look like have a multiple membrane surface, membranes layer, actually round up and into a spiral shape to provide more surface area. Basically, as you said, like, it has a large volume of whey that we have to process, including 93% of water, and we have smaller amount of components like protein and other lactose to remove out, and that require more surface area, and this actually allow for more efficient separation in the dairy industry there. So if you look at like the membranes, this is a membrane here. If you put feed from the membrane on this side, actually it allows to permeate any particles smaller than the holes of the membranes there, and then collect it into the permeate tube here, and then get out from the permeate tube. So whatever passed through those membranes collect in the permeate tube, and whatever retain on the membrane surface actually come out as a retentate or concentrate stream there. This is just in a picture for a membrane filtration plant in the dairy industry. As you can see, that multiple membranes units can go into these vessels, and has a different loops here on that associated with different pumps and valves settings there. So ion exchange, as we all know, again, this is based on separation based on the charges, and whey component has different charges on it. And there are two kinds of ion exchange: anion ion exchange and cation ion exchange. Anion, which binds negatively charged particles; cation, that binds positively charged particles. For an example, if we use the cation exchange beads in a column, and we pass whey stream through those cation exchange stream, so the cation exchange resin actually binds the positive charge components, like some of the whey proteins, like lactoferrin, lactoperoxidase, and some other minerals that positive charge the neutral pH that can bind with those cation exchange resin and allow other components to just pass without binding. And then we can extract those bound protein by using either salt solution or by using pH gradient, and then just collect those protein that bound to the resin and further purify with ultrafiltration technology. So let's talk about those different wave fractions and what are the different functional and nutritional values that they add. This is a process example again in the dairy industry for processing whey, utilizing those, as I said, different membrane technologies there and ion exchange technology to process whey into different components like whey protein concentrate, whey protein isolates, different fractions of whey proteins like lactoferrin, alpha-lactalbumin, beta-lactoglobulin, etc. Then lactose, minerals, and water. So whey fractions, if we divide major components on whey fraction, basically we say lactose, proteins, and minerals. For this presentation, our lactose is focused on these three. And for the proteins, as we talk about generally protein, there are different variants of proteins out in the market. One is whey protein concentrate, another is whey protein isolate, whey protein hydrolysate, and other fractions like bioactive fractions from protein or different fractions of protein and peptides like lactoferrin and other bioactives. So whey protein concentrate and whey protein isolates. So there are different kind of whey protein concentrates, as this graph shows. Whey protein concentrate 34, 55, 80, and isolates there. So does the name suggest here? Basically, it says 34% protein, 55% protein, 80% protein, and 90% for whey protein isolate. And how we get that? Actually, by removing the other components like lactose, fat, and ash from the whey stream to concentrate out on these proteins. We all know there are different kinds of whey proteins. Beta-lactoglobulin is the majority of the whey protein, around 50 to 60% there, with alpha-lactalbumin, then GMP, immunoglobulin, bovine serum albumin, and lactoferrin and lactoperoxidase. So again, this glycometapeptide GMP is basically the part of the casein that gets lost in the cheese making with rennet when we make sweet whey out of it. So why we would like to fractionate these whey proteins into different components? Why we would like to fractionate whey proteins with the beta-lactoglobulin and alpha-lactalbumin? Because of their unique characteristic, their unique functionality. So, and how that comes with the unique functionality and characteristic can be connected to their structural uniqueness there. So as you can see in the screen, like beta-lactoglobulin has a structure. It's kind of a cone-shaped structure there with the hydrophilic component outside and hydrophobic inside generally. And the hydrophobic components actually provides binding sites for some of the ligands like vitamin A, D, phospholipids, retinols, etc. And it has a free cysteine group, which kind of helpful in some kind of processing treatment when we do, and then provide some functionality like gelation and then excellent emulsifications there. So another thing is alpha-lactalbumin has a calcium binding sites in the structure that actually absorbs calcium and then transport the calcium. Bovine lactoferrin has binding sites for the iron. As you can see, the structure shows that two binding sites that can absorb iron and actually transport iron very well. So what I'm trying to say here in this slide is basically by fractionating and isolating these different protein fractions from whey protein, we can explore the unique characteristic for each of them, and actually we can utilize that commercially in different applications and nutritional benefits. This slide just shows an example again with the heat treatment or the processing treatment when we do with native whey protein, how we can change the functionality. It can unfold in its shape, or we can say denaturation basically, and expose the different components outside in the structure and allow to start forming different interactions and reactions and protein to protein aggregations that leads to the strong gelling and high viscosity, and that actually require for some of the food applications. Now, this slide shows again the same what we talk about functionality. It can bind some of the hydrophobic components like flavor components. It can bind vitamin A, D, phospholipids, different components that can be bind and transport in the for bioavailability purpose. There for the gelation, as you talk about, it can provide a good gelation. Emulsification, it has both hydrophobic, hydrophilic groups, and it's excellent emulsifiers for the different food applications. So whey protein hydrolysate, this is again another variant of whey protein, which is basically we hydrolyze using enzyme into the protein into different smaller peptides. So we actually cut smaller pep protein into smaller fragments, I would say, and that would allow this this protein peptides to be absorbed very fast rate in the body. So that gives a nutritional benefit in that way. So it's different than denaturation, where it's not unfold the structure, but still have that properties there, but at the same time, just dividing into different peptides and smaller peptides. So from the functionality standpoint, it also provides heat stability. So it can be utilized in the application where it requires high heat treatment, UST treatments. So that's kind of, we can fortify protein in those kind of applications. These are different, again, properties for whey proteins, and these are different applications that we can utilize. The slide just shows that what we just spoke about, and the different, like for example, gelation can be used for the yogurts, confectionery, clarity. Whey protein is kind of like have a wide range of pH can be soluble into that, and that actually allow whey protein to fortify in some of the beverages and different pH, at low and high and neutral pH there. So health benefits on whey proteins. We all know that whey protein or protein intake in a way like is good for our health, right? But what kind of protein, what source of protein, what quality of protein is good, right? And so experts has made this easier for us, and they put together kind of a characteristics and measurement to determine the protein quality for different protein, basically. And as we know that protein is made of amino acids. There are 20 different amino acids. 9 of them are essential amino acids. That means it cannot be made in our body, and it has to provide or must be obtained from the diets. So any high quality protein would have that 9 essential amino acids, and whey is one of them that provide those 9 essential amino acids, and also in the proportion that can be absorbed by our body very well and utilized and bioavailable and utilized by the body in making the protein synthesis or the cell functioning and modulating that. So that's why the whey protein is considered very high quality whey protein to intake. And that whey protein, again, can provide a nutritional support at different stages of life, or even like different health status that we require in our life. So whey protein can provide that supplement nutrition support. For example, in infant health, it requires more immunity boost there. It can also help by providing some immunity boosting components. Then in the toddler health and adult health, the more exercise you do, it require extra nutrients for the muscles building, and also to make sure all the metabolisms goes well there. And again, the pregnancy require good iron absorptions, protein, healthy aging, the same way, like it required some good more extra nutrient that whey protein has been researched to provide. Again, there has been a lot of research that has been done on whey protein that established very strong health benefits associated with whey proteins. Like this, it can stabilize blood sugar levels, improve fat burning, like glycomacropeptides has that satiety kind of impact. Stimulates muscle building, like the branch chain amino acids that we have in whey protein actually help, like L-leucine, that actually help there. So there are different health benefits that you talk about, like it's like an improved bone density. Protein has been playing a role with calcium also to improve the bone density. Immune health is a big thing right now, and anti-carcinogenic. So it has the produces the amino acids. Some of the amino acid has the role to produce the hormones that can actually help to produce antioxidant activities and then help with the immune health and anti-carcinogenic activities. Again, this slide just shows like different whey protein fraction and how they plays role in as an antimicrobial, antiviral. For example, lactoferrin as antiviral activities, and also some of the whey proteins, how they controls the growth factors and modulations there. For example, glycomacropeptides, the diet suppressant role. Lactoferrin has iron transport role in the body. So quickly, I would like to touch base on the bioactive fractions. We all know that milk has a lot of bioactives that end up in whey stream also. And I would like to talk particularly about the lactoferrin here, just because it has been getting a huge attention with this COVID-19 and having antimicrobial and antiviral activities associated with lactoferrin there. And it has a like iron absorption site, as we talked about before. As you can see the structure here. And so it absorbs iron very well, lactoferrin, and there has been studies that shows that iron absorptions and also support gastrointestinal activities. So it actually binds iron that starve the bad bacteria and actually help the good bacteria like probiotic by providing some synergistic impact with that. So one of the things that I would like, we know that like with different supplements for the iron in the market, like sulfate and fumarates, it is known for some kind of side effect with the stomach upset. And there has been studies that shows that lactoferrin, compared with the other iron supplements like sulfate and fumarate, it has a gentler impact. So you can see the gastric upset, like lactoferrin does not have that much of bad impact as compared to sulfate and fumarate. So it actually has a gentler impact for source of iron. And other than that, it also more bioavailable. So whatever iron absorbed by lactoferrin is also bioavailable in the body. This is another study that shows that visually we can see that lactoferrin has less damage on intestinal villi compared to the other iron sources like sulfate and sulfate. Lactoferrin in infant nutrition, we know that it has been known for the good value for the infants. It has an accelerated neurodevelopment profile and improved language. That study shows that it has a significantly fewer diarrhea and respiratory associated adverse events, when it was fed to with a diet with lactoferrin in it. Lactoferrin has added benefit in immune support. There has been studies again which shows that one of the studies that I'm showing here that shows that lactoferrin fed to piglets actually has reduced amount of bacterial infection in different organs like heart, kidney, lungs, spleen. So it has a lower amount, so lower infection. It has a capacity to lower the infection compared to the other as a control here. As we talk about COVID-19, it has been a lot of studies going on right now, and that establishes like lactoferrin as an effective inhibitor of COVID-19, and also has an increased efficacy of the drugs that being used to treating lactoferrin there. So it has been a great market for lactoferrin, definitely right now. I know this time is over the time a little bit, but just want to touch base very quickly with the whey permeate, the other stream lactose and minerals. So whey permeate has two different components, lactose and minerals, that can be utilized as a nutritional and functional ingredients. We can either dry whey permeate directly by concentrating whey permeate in evaporators and then crystallize small lactose crystals and then dry it. or just refine the lactose by removing the other impurities and also the minerals first, and then concentrating down into bigger crystals, and then actually refining those lactose crystals and dry it. It can be utilized again for other applications, like in the fermented side also. So this slide just shows the key market for lactose can be utilized in infant, bakery, convenience food, and clinical nutrition. And some nutritional benefits associated with that is the production of galacto oligosaccharides, and that's just kind of prebiotics there. And we know other benefits like sweetness, also carbohydrates, and protein standardization. Milk minerals, we all know that calcium intake is good for the bones, but one thing is, like, bone has other minerals like phosphorus, magnesium, potassium, zinc, and copper, like, which is kind of provides the complete balance of minerals in the bone. And this is just an example of the milk mineral. TrueCal is a product from Glanbia Nutritionals that has a milk mineral in it. And as you can see, it has a very similar mineral profile as bone there, and it has been shown as compared to the other source of the calcium intake that actually this helps with the better bone health. This is again the study that shows that that TrueCal, the milk mineral, actually help to reduce the bone breakdown compared to the calcium carbonate, that source of other calcium, and also the bone turnover is less with the milk mineral. So in summary, we all know that they used to be treated as a waste product, but now it's been highly recognized as a highly nutritional value and versatile functional properties. It has a different components that have been recognized for improving health and preventing disease. Then with the technologies out there right now, it allows us to explore every components of whey and fractionate each of them and uncover bioactivity and health promoting characteristics that associated with that. So with that, I would like to thank you everyone, and thank you for giving this opportunity, and I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Uncle, for a very informative session indeed, especially considering the present scenario. We see that whey protein fractions has many advantages. Even it is effective, like lactoferrin is effective for COVID-19 as well. Thank you very much, Ankur, for your precious time. We know it's odd time at your place. Still, you are here to present this session. Thank you. So
Very excited. Thank you.
Thank you. So we had a very interesting sessions today, very good speakers, and I'm sure everybody has enjoyed all the talks. And there would be a few questions also. So now I hand over the session to Pinto Madam.
We are 40 minutes late. We are 40 minutes late, but it was worth it. Yes. All the speakers gave very informative this thing. In the first lecture, Gokul Krishnan spoke on dairy business a wealthy way, in which he gave 10 points to improve the farmer's welcome. Farmer's income. To improve the farmer's income. He has listed 10 points to improve the farmer's income. And I was seeing in the live chat, everybody found it very informative. This thing. And there are some questions.
Yeah.
In the second lecture, Gaurav Parekh spoke on new trends and change in consumer demand and behavior pre-COVID and post-COVID. He also told us how consumers' habits have changed due to COVID-19, and consumers have become more cautious about what they purchase and what they are looking for. And they are looking for health-oriented snacking. I have some questions for Gaurav Parekh also. Third lecture, Chetan Dharaya sir was supposed to take it, but last minute we changed, and Dr. Gokhale did a very nice job. And he spoke on spices and herbs in fermented dairy products. And the last lecture was from US, Dr. Ankur Janwar. He spoke on whey products. So the first question, my first question would go to Dr. Gokul. not Dr. Gokul, Mr. Gokul Krishnan, that you have given us 10 points to improve farmers' income.
Yeah.
So, and one of the point was about the pricing of milk. You described the importance of pricing of milk. So my first question is that which should be the best pricing system for milk? And when we are deciding the pricing for milk, which parameter should be given the most importance in deciding the pricing of milk?
Yeah, madam. I'd like to say, nowadays, whenever you procure the milk from the farmers, first should be the purity of milk. So we should have facility to test the milk for its purity. Purity means if something else apart from the natural ingredients is there or not. I don't want to go in deep. This should be the number one criteria. And number two, as usual, it should be the quantity. And number three, it is fat and protein. In our country, we don't give much importance. We call it as SNF. So that should be taken up also. So these are the 3-4 criteria. Apart from some existing cow milk, buffalo milk, A2 milk, they are very, it's not a huge market. If you talk in a whole, it should be of purity, number one, then quantity as it matters, then third one should be fat, and fourth should be this thing, and microbial and everything else follows that. Normally, as I'm saying again and again, the milk brought by the producer to the society or anywhere, 99% it is of good quality. Then the spoilage starts from there. So this is what I would like to say. These are the parameters. Apart from other things, now it is coming up, aflatoxin, antibiotics. These are all additional requirement for additional specific requirement of specific plants.
Gokul, you also spoke on sperm sorting technique.
Yeah.
Sperm sorting technique.
Sperm sorting. See, this is I would like to say on the other part. In humans, we want a baby boy, and in cows, we want a.
No. Where it is available enough.
No. It is available in some of the. I'll just say, madam, it is available in some places. Some of the companies are doing it. Veterinary companies are doing it. It's sorting is nothing but XY chromosome. X is the female one. So we have to segregate the X1 using fluorescent technology. Then it can be taken, and it will have 90% possibility that you will get a female. That's coming up now.
Okay. And another point which you said was to improve farmers' income was wealth from waste.
Wealth
so
from
this
waste.
we have been doing since long time. But what more can be done in this?
So what more can be done is.
What is the latest?
See, what happens if a farmer is having 1 or 2 cow or a buffalo, the waste generated will be comparatively less. What they have to do, they have to get the things again accumulated. For example, if you see in Sidhpur, Tehsil, in Patan, there is a biogas plant where Messana Dairy has taken up. It's a huge plant running for years together. They're making 600 cubic meters of gas, 300 tons of solid waste. So everything they are producing, and it's doing very well. One thing is needed is a cooperation between everybody. The collection, they are bringing 28 trucks of dung to a particular place. All these things, logistics should be done, and they have to give. Initially, when we start the thing, there will be some hiccups, but when they take it up further, it will anyhow lead to a good result. There are so many things available. Main is the dung for the biogas. And even the dried one can be used as a manure. Nowadays, because we are getting whatever food we eat, we do not know what it contains. Really, we do not know. All this cancer and the breast cancer, everything is coming day by here and there. It's mainly because of those pesticide residues and insecticide residues. So when we go back 100 years and we start using all these things, so the organic production and all these things will improve. But that has to be taught in a group and done. Single farmer, it will be difficult for them to do it.
I think Dr. Jana had one question.
One more question is there in the. Madam, one more question is there in something. Somebody is asking that why pricing
yes.
Why pricing
I saw
has
Dr.
come down.
Jana.
Hello.
Yes.
Why, madam? Why pricing has come down? Was it NDDB and government and all? I do not know who has asked that question.
Jana, Dr. Jana.
Sir, Jana sir. Sorry. I did not read your name, sir. It has gone up. Sir, the prices has not gone down. So when I joined Amul, we were paying 200 rupees per kg fat. Now we are paying 700 rupees per kg fat. So if you see from 200, if you make a scale, it will be only what you call cross horizontal one. The prices has gone up. If you see the diesel price, in 2005 it was 20 rupees a liter. Now it is 80 rupees a liter. And though we are doing the things, the price has gone up. And one more thing I would like to say. That's why I was speaking in contrast with the Vice Chancellor. So somebody is saying the government is paying remuneration. Okay, government is allocating the funds. If you see wherever the government dairies are there, almost everything has shut down. So that's a different thing. Cooperatives, we are Amul cooperative. Our cooperative is owned by the farmer. They know better than us. And we are their employees and we are working for them. So the prices is always going up and they know, they plan very well. Accordingly, we do expansion. Next thing we have to see is to improve the quality of milk, then start exporting to get the better remuneration. For that, productivity has to improve and quality has to improve. It is not only in particular sector, all over the things we have to get it done. And farmers should be educated. They should be made aware what is milk first and what and why is getting the payment. So if all these things happens, so automatically the things will come up. It will take time, but it will happen.
Shri Gokul, I asked this question because in one of the slides, you showed that from the time earlier years, the income to the farmer is decreasing.
That is the daily wages. Excuse me, sir. That is the daily wages the laborer is getting.
Daily wages.
That is not related directly to the milk production. So that is the slide that government had told by 2022 will double the income of the farmers. And dairy is one of the main source where we can have that. Because agriculture, as I told, dairy is 25% of the total GDP, 7 lakh crore we are doing it. Agriculture, paddy and rice, we are seeing the strike still it is going on. So they are not getting, I have seen in farms, people are feeding cauliflower to the animals and they pay 1 rupee a kilogram. You can just imagine. 1 rupee a kilogram after maybe the cauliflower normally takes 2 to 3 months for cultivation. So they just send the tractor, they pay 1 rupee, they bring the cauliflower and they feed it to the animal. So this sort of things are happening. So this has to be taken care and dairy will be of very good help. And what we have to do, we have to encourage people taking milk also because we are going towards vegetarian culture and milk, though it is it's from animal source, it is a good source of protein and whatever whey protein you take. He was talking about if you take milk, automatically that whey protein is also going to come into us. So all these things are there. So what I say that price has not come down at all. In some sectors, it may not be there. That's why I showed the slide that choose your vendors. Whenever you choose the vendors, you have to have long relationship. If you have the cooperative sector, wherever, whatever they want to do, it will be owned by them. They will know the things, why they are doing for what they are doing. So that was the thing. Price will never come down, sir.
My question to Gaurav is that you are an owner of medium scale business with a very impressive turnover. What is your advice to small manufacturers, especially students who wants to start their own business? How to deal with this type of pandemic situation?
Few traits required are passionate about your business, whatever ideas you have, determination and perseverance. Focus on solution rather than on problem. Crisis always bring opportunity. Never be afraid of failure. Accept failure and correct it. So be a fast learner. Now to start a business, you need a good idea. So any idea does not work in business. So idea should be which connects or solves consumer's problem. That is idea. So good idea that resolves consumer problem. So identify such idea, take a small trial. If it works, continue. If it doesn't work, correct yourself. Under fund yourself with good amount of money you require for business to operate the business. So good angel investor, if you identify, there are angel investors or private equity fund, venture capitalists in the market. Or under startup scheme, government has started initiative to fund the organization. So to start a business, these are the traits required and good idea. So I suggest to go in that line. And COVID-like situation, any crisis have brought an opportunity. So we realized like vocal for local, Atmanirbhar Bharat, medium scale were the key for the economy, and they were the driving force during lockdown. So our honorable Prime Minister have already realized, and he has started this Atmanirbhar campaign and vocal for local campaign. This is just the beginning for our country, and I think economy, we will be liberating from all the imports that we are doing it, and trade deficits will be again less, and many small medium enterprise are going to enter business. So we will be self-made country very soon under our Prime Minister campaign. And as I have already stated that food is the first medicine, so good food is the solution for at this moment to avoid such COVID-like situation, and stay at home and stay safe. Thank you.
Very nice. Ankur, there is one question from you. How the iron is absorbed through the intestine with the help of lactoferrin? And second is, what amount of lactoferrin is required to have this benefit? And what kind of structural change is required for this purpose? I think this is a question from Dr. Hathi.
Well, I can try my attempt this one, but basically it was talking about like iron binding sites on the lactoferrin structure itself has the binding sites for the iron. Yeah, it has to go to the structural changes, and it actually unlock and bind the iron and lock it back, and yeah, I mean, with the time I can share this, more kind of I would say animation or something that would actually very cool to see those, structural changes and how it behaves in absorbing iron. But yeah, it has to go to the structural changes, but it has very good efficacy of iron there, and it absorbs iron very similarly. Now there has not been a lot of studies. It's still not very clear how this actually the iron get released. So I mean it can absorb, but how it can release in the body. The mechanism of that is not very clear right now, as far as I know. Depending on what research I have seen, it's not very clear on mechanism of delivering it again and releasing that. But iron saturation of lactoferrin is good, and absorption has been already done, but mechanism is not very clear. Yes.
Gokhale, there are some questions for you, but I will not ask you because you were the last minute we changed the speakers. Can I ask? Rachna Rathwa has asked one question. Which products can be launched during pandemic? Which herbal products can be launched during pandemic?
Can be launched.
Can be launched.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah. So just what I found is cinnamon is the best herb among all, and we can launch the cinnamon flavored milk also, along with the turmeric. That can be the best option. Or even as you have done the research in 1996 for ginger extracts or ginger in the ice cream, Mia can suggest the ginger in the milk also. But only thing is we need to regulate the pH, because ginger is more acidic in nature. So that will affect the stability of the milk. So that can be done.
Thank you everyone for Dr. Arun Patil. Thank you for attending the session. If you want to say something.
Well, I have to just say one thing. First thing, as everybody knows, that we are having a country where the milk production is done by marginal farmers or landless laborers. So we have to keep them at the center of all our activities. Unless and until they thrive, they survive, our milk industry will not go ahead. So that is one of the things. And since it is providing employment to millions of people, so we have to concentrate on that. And to attain that, we have to go with the novel ideas where we can give maximum portion of the consumer rupee to the milk producer. Cooperative is one of the proven methods where almost 80 to 82% of the consumer rupee goes to the milk producers. So we have to continue in that direction. Number two, we have to find out the innovative ways, and innovative ways where the value addition will be more, so that we can give more and more share of the consumer rupee to the milk producers. One thing which I have observed for the last 3-4 decades, we are lagging in the research and innovation. Whatever our universities are doing, mostly they are financed by the state governments and central governments. If it is National Institute, it is the government of India. If all the agricultural universities and dairy universities, they are funded by the state government, which is much, much inadequate. So I have a concept. Now government of India has made it compulsory for all the corporates to give 2% for the CSR fund, that is corporate social responsibility. I feel we should ask the government to ask corporates to pass on at least 0.5% or 1% to the research and innovation of the particular industry. So dairy industry is one thing. When it is providing almost job to 10 crore families, so it is going to be a big booster to them. So unless and until we have a proper research and innovation, we will not be able to sustain in the today's most competitive world. This is what I'd like to share. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Now I would like to invite Dr. Jana to propose the vote of thanks.
Well, a very happy new year 2021 to all of you. And I have got a very pleasant task to deliver the vote of thanks. First of all, I would like to offer our gratitude to our worthy Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir, Dr. R.V. Vyas, sir, for gracing the occasion with his presence and for the highly motivating presidential address to our dairy technocrat fraternity, since we have just entered into a new year and have to work towards attaining upliftment of the dairy plants and finally give their due to the dairy farmers of India. We are proud to announce that our newly appointed Principal and Dean of SMC College of Dairy Science, Shri Janak Upadhyay, Dr. Janak Upadhyay, who is also the patron of the Alumni Association of Dairy Science College, has provided us full support in organizing this debutant international webinar being handled by the Dairy Technology Department of Dairy Science College, Anand, in association with the Alumni Association. We are highly thankful to Shri Arun Patil sir for not only gracing the occasion, but also giving his inputs, since he has definitely had more experience with, particularly with the IDA, which is doing a lot for our entire dairy fraternity. I would fail in my duty unless I specifically mention the initiative taken by Dr. Sunita Pinto, Professor and Head, Department of Dairy Technology, for taking this initiative in organizing this webinar along with myself. I'm a co-organizer, and we assure all of you that we'll be continuing with such webinars in near future, coming out with some relevant topics important in this particular era. I put on record the spontaneous willingness of our worthy speakers at the webinar, namely Shri Gokul Krishnan, Shri Ankur Jhavar, Shri Gaurav Parekh, and Dr. Ajay Gokhale. Dr. Chetan Dharaiya was to do it, but because of some personal reason, medical, he could not do it. Dr. Gokhale is, of course, our faculty member. Well, the other three luminaries are our worthy alumni, because alumni is also there as one of the organizers. We'll be coming out with recommendations from this delivered talks of today's webinar and get it published in the forthcoming Indian Dairymen, published by Indian Dairy Association, New Delhi. I will take up this matter with Arun Patil sir too. All the presentations were very pertinent to the theme of the webinar, and it must have given a positive vibe to our budding students, because recently we had a new PG students entering into our all over the Kamdhenu as well as Anand Agriculture University. So especially the postgraduate students who can keep this in mind while choosing the research projects in future, whatever little deliberations we had on the topics. I'm highly thankful to our co-organizers of the event, namely Dr. Ajay Gokhale, Dr. Amit Patel, Dr. Jarita Malik, and Dr. Krunal Kamani. A special thanks goes to Dr. Krunal Kamani for meticulously arranging for the webinar associated with all the IT related work, as well as Shri Bimal for designing the flyer brochure for the webinar. I thank the three gorgeous ladies, Dr. Jarita Malik, Dr. Komal Patel, and Professor Rachna Rathwa, who were the master of the ceremony for this particular webinar. I also profusely thank Dr. Dinal Patel and Dr. Chetan Daraya for constantly doing their bit for the good conduct of the webinar. We also thank Dr. Shrija, Assistant Professor and Head Department of Dairy Microbiology, for allowing us to use the paid Zoom platform, which they had already got it. I am thrilled to know the large gathering of the web. I saw initially more than 250 plus on the YouTube, which has further boosted our morale in launching some more additional webinars in the near future. Kindly pardon me if I have failed in my duty to mention somebody's role who unknowingly who had taken this part. Thank you. Jai Hind. Let us hope for the best. New year 2021 goes good for all. Thank you all for participating.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, thanks.
Madam, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thanks.
sir.
Thank you, Jarita
Thank you
madam.
all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.